Think we're live. Um, Unfortunately, it seems like the Wi-Fi connection here hasn't been great, so hopefully this will work and there not be too much lag. So yeah, I was in New York a few days for like a bit over a week back. And before that I was in Paris, and before that I was in Morocco for a month. Um, and yeah, as I explained, I mean it's sort of silly, but yeah, I was hoping to like meet some young woman that I would be able to use as bait for Twitch. Sadly, this has not worked out. So yeah, I figure I'll just instead try to actually just do political action the normal way, which actually is possible in Switzerland, pretty much only in Switzerland, because there you can actually have popular initiatives where people actually make, just random people actually make stuff happen and you don't have to be elected. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going back to Switzerland, and as I am back in Switzerland, and I'm going to do an initiative. I'm going to try to get UBI passed. So there's already been one initiative that we voted on in 2016 on UBI, and now they're currently collecting signatures for a next initiative. So it's over 18 months. They have to get 100,000 signatures out of a population of 8 million. But of course, not everybody is eligible to vote. So eligible. So so that is that. You can see I cut my hair just when I arrived in Geneva. I think I'll let it grow back a bit because it's look a bit. I don't know. I feel it looks a bit odd. But also, it kind of goes all over the place if it's too long. So. Anyway, so I'm gonna do that. So I've already contacted the chancellery, federal chancellery. They're gonna send me instructions on how to do it. I've contacted people I know here in Geneva too, because you have to be 7 people who form a committee to do this. So I've contacted those to see if they want to join me for this, and probably I shouldn't have too much trouble finding people to join me. And then the hard part is going to be to collect those 100,000 signatures. I'm going to have to go and find people to gather those signatures for me, and I'm not really sure. I'm not really. That is kind of the uncertain aspect. Um, so hopefully I'll manage to convince people to do that. And so if I'm working, I'll be able to pay people to do it as well, which will be a bonus if I can't find volunteers to do it. It's true that otherwise, if it's just volunteers, I don't even need to work actually. So yeah, but I've planned to work. I've got an interview next Wednesday on the 18th of May, and so we'll see if they then I'll have to wait a few weeks to see if they take me, and then we don't know when the job will be starting anyway. I really am not looking forward to it, to working. I really don't have the motivation, don't have the strength on it. Yeah, but if it's necessary because I can't find any volunteers and I have to pay people, then I'll do it. Um, so that's that. Um, I mean, if I can find volunteers, then I don't even need to stay in Switzerland because just staying in Switzerland is really expensive. So like right here, I'm staying at the university, students' housing, and it's costing me 60 francs a night. So like 60 US dollars a night. So that's a lot, and this is cheaper, like a lot cheaper than a hotel. Um, so so that is that. Is there anything else for me to say? So yeah, so why, if they're already collecting signatures for an initiative on UBI, why am I doing another one? Well, because I don't really like their initiative. I think mine is better. Basically because the other one, the initiatives both the one that because it's the same committee that did it in 2016 and it's doing it now again, and basically it's not precise enough. It doesn't say how much they're going to give in UBI, and it doesn't say how they're going to finance it. Um, and so it's very vague, and people say, well, we don't know how to finance it, and we say we don't, and like yeah, so and plus, if you don't give a specific number on how much you're giving, well, it's likely that then they'll just give an extremely low number, or So anyway, instead, what I've decided to do is to provide a specific number and a specific explanation on how to finance it. And another problem is that the number that they devoked as a suggestion to how much to give was much too much. They devoked 2,500 Swiss francs, US dollars is more or less the same. So 2,500 a month, which I think is well, it is highly excessive because that means 30,000 a year, and the GDP per capita in Switzerland is like 80,000 a year. So I mean it's it's over 35%. It's between 35 and 40% of GDP per capita. It's huge. It would like crush the economy. Uh, so what I'm suggesting instead is a much much more meager amount of only 700 a month. And basically, I've calculated that it is possible, at least if we can manage to bring rent down. And why is rent so high is because there's not enough housing. So what I've included is a third. So the amount is 700. So then there's a thing saying that for people to be able to live on it, um, so basically, there's obligatory health insurance, so that's about 300 a month. Then for like your needs for like food and electricity and water and stuff and that those sorts of other basic things, that's like combined as just 100 a month, and so that's 400, and then so you've got 300 left for rent. But in fact, in Switzerland, it's so expensive that it basically can't find stuff for 300 a month. So that's why I've said that we have to build more. And I've said basically that in this initiative, the government, the central government, is enabled to override local opposition to construction projects so that construction projects can actually be done. And so that way that will bring the rental prices down. Um, and then it would be possible at 700 a month. So, because like the idea is that this 2,500 a month was taken into account, and that some places it's really expensive to get a decent housing for a single, even for a person, and so that's why. But it seems a bit silly, to accept these high prices and then to give a high UBI. No, instead bring the prices down and then we can give a low UBI. It's more, I don't know, it's more economically satisfying, and it's more. I mean, certainly from an economist point of view, I think there'd be a lot more acceptance. Um, and so, how's the funding going to be done? Well, the funding, and so yeah, and more details about how the UBI is given. It's given only to citizens, right? And it's also given to citizens abroad. And why? Because otherwise, you're going to be attracting, I mean, all sorts of people from overseas to get the UBI. So that would be just a big problem for obvious reasons. And what I've also said is that UBI, it's not actually 700, it's 10% of GDP per capita, which amounts to 700 a month currently, but then it just increases. So you're not going to be stuck with 700 and with inflation. So it's going to be, if I just said 700, then you're going to have inflation, and then that 700 is going to have less and less value. So instead, yeah, not only does it track inflation, but it also tracks the economic growth adjusted for inflation. So, I mean, that's the obvious thing to do. Um, and what I've said is that there's an annual increase that tracks the economic growth, and on the other hand, if there's economic degrowth, then um, then you're not, if there's a temporary economic degrowth like there was with COVID, you're not going to bring the UBI down. But if there's a long-term degrowth, then you will bring it down. Um, and so wait, I should get the text just to remind myself. Um, so I've actually written the text. I could show it, but I can't really be bothered now. In any case, it's in French, and since I'm saying it in English. Oh yeah, I'm just saying that it's not taxed, so you're not, it's paid for through taxes, but it's not taxed itself, because then you just have to give a bigger UBI and then re-tax it, just complicate the whole tax system more. Um, oh yeah, and I'm just also said that the people who uh, can't, for whatever reason, receive or use the basic income for temporarily, well, the basic income is reserved for them, and then once they're able to have the basic income, then we give them the amount that they would have received during the time that they weren't able to have it. Okay, and so that's that. And so oh yeah, and for the housing thing, so that's in the third part. So the second part is the funding, which I haven't talked about yet. The third part is the housing. I just specifically said that the rental costs have to be um, basically less than 150% of the cost of construction and upkeep. Um, So maybe I should add a little element to make it clear that it's over the whole time of the rent. I mean, so that covers, 150%. Basically, the idea is that 100%, that would be the ideal, but it's almost unachievable. And well, not only that, but then you have no incentive to build, right? You need to have a bit of profit. And so that's the 150% is just this margin of acknowledging that there has to be some profit for like constructors. And so, but what I mean is that over the lifetime of an apartment, you get back no more from rent than 150%, so 1.5 times the cost of construction and upkeep. Right? Um, yeah, I don't know if I should add that, but it's a really long sentence. Yeah, maybe somebody I'll have to talk about it with a lawyer so that people can see what it's yeah, so that they can tell me exactly how to formulate it. Um, and then I've written, yeah, and then the financing. So how's it financed? Well, the way I've talked about, like I wanted for them for taxation, like I've suggested, which is a single flat, which a single proportional income tax on individual income. Um, yeah, that's it. Oh, hi. Hello, Eve. Bonjour. Um, how's that going? What's up? I was in Frankistan recently. I almost should have gone and said hello. Anyway, um, I actually went to see like the. Am I supporting the war in Asia? I don't support either. I don't like either. Um, so yeah, I basically I wait. Let me just expand this again. Oh, for some reason it's not showing up on the screen well. Yeah. Um. What? Yeah. I basically I don't like either side. I'm just sort of against either side. Um. So yeah. Um. So yeah, like I said, I'm in Switzerland now. I live practically France. And so yeah. And I'm doing an initiative for UBI. I'm going to try rather. Um. And so what I'm saying is I'm going to finance it through personal income taxation, and it includes all income. So it's not just salary, it's not just wages, but it's also things like return on investment, like return on interest. Oh, I should probably add that actually. And like inheritance donations, um, and even any other kind of like government given revenue and revenue from insurance, like just any money that comes to you, and as well as just stuff like just actual not money, but just things that are given to you as well. And then meanwhile, uh, everything that you like all the money that you spend that isn't for your own personal consumption, that gets deduced from your revenue. So, for instance, if you spend money to invest it in something, that will get deduced. If you spend money for an insurance, that will get deduced. If you spend money for, and for taxes, that gets deduced. And so what I'm also saying is that, well, it's paid for only by citizens. So like residents here, they don't get the UBI, but they don't have to pay for the UBI either. And meanwhile, well, citizens overseas also have to pay the tax for the UBI. Um, and so and that the reason for that is again to avoid the phenomenon of tax avoidance. So right, by not giving the UBI to foreigners, you don't attract all the poor people into Switzerland, and by requiring UBI to be paid for by all citizens, whether they're in Switzerland or not, well, you don't have the phenomenon of capital flight of rich people going away and taking their money with them, right? So that that's the explanation of that. And so then finally, there's just a temporary thing just explaining that the UBI has to be implemented within 2 years after accepting the initiative. And meanwhile, the specific way that I want of financing it, as well as what I said about housing to build, housing, that has to be done within the 5 years. And well, because you need to give the government time to actually create the structures that enable this to be done. And so giving the UBI is relatively easy compared to changing the whole tax systems to ensure that even people overseas and stuff pay the taxes, and also to ensure that all revenue gets taxed, because for now it's not really. I mean, it is already sort of done like that, but I think it probably would require a lot of time. So, and also, of course, building lots of housing. I mean, that's already super fast. If you can build so much housing within 5 years that the prices are almost down to the cost of construction, I mean, that would just be a massive building spree. So, I mean, 5 years is really like the minimum limit for that. Um, and I just add also. So yeah, so that's why there's those time scales. And also I just finally add that the basic income replaces the current child support benefits that are currently 500 a month typically, but it doesn't replace the other benefits such as disability and unemployment benefits and retirement benefits, um, because typically those are based on you having first paid as a worker, and then you get money back. So it's more like an insurance. So yeah, we're not going to get rid of those. Although potentially then there could be some other initiative to get rid of those, but like, certainly um, just by accepting the initiative, you're not going to touch the other stuff. Um, so that is my goal. Um, so I've pretty much covered everything at this point. Yeah, so I'm gonna be, if I start working again, it's gonna be back in radiology, and it's gonna be in the German-speaking part of Switzerland. So I'm boning up on my German, and it's pretty hard. It's, but probably, yeah, probably I can do it. So I don't know if there's really much more to say at this point. I've kind of covered the whole thing. And well, if this actually, if I get the 100,000 signatures, then it'll be something that'll be talked about. Then I'll sort of try to just make myself known somehow. But at that point, that will enable me to get more known. So it's probably, I feel like it's the best strategy to get myself known at this point. Um, so that is my strategy, is to get myself known. Um, and get myself known through this initiative. Um, 100,000 signatures for Swiss. Yeah, that's what you need. You need 100,000 signatures in 18 months to get the thing then voted on. If you get 100,000 signatures, then they they make they say they have the whole population vote, and then not everybody, you're not compelled to vote, so not everybody's going to vote, and of course, like, kids don't vote, but uh, other people vote. I mean, the citizens vote, and so yeah, that's going to be a hard thing, is getting 100,000. It's a really bad idea. We need capitalism. You know that UBI is capitalism, like it's not capitalism. It's actually a really good idea, because you actually, like, you're giving capital to people. You're actually, like, giving people more opportunities to, like, do stuff. It gives them like a base to. It just makes the economy a lot easier. It makes the economy a lot easier for everyone. It also makes it easier for employers, because it gives them less of a burden. Typically, employers, there's all sorts of reasons why employers can't fire people. With a UBI, you can get rid of those regulations, so it makes it less easy. It makes it easier for employers. It, it, it you know, it removes that responsibility that's currently being given to them to provide a livelihood to people. We're not in a communist state. Again, that's crap. That's just crap. I know, like, people say, you people say this, but like, it's crap. It's already plenty capitalist. That you know, so UBI is definitely super useful. And yeah, like, lots of, we don't have full employment, so it's not as easy as just getting a job. Hey, I applied for a job just to be a just a clerk at, like, a grocery store. You can't even get that. I can't even just be like the checkout person at a grocery store. So, like, it's really hard to get a job. You can't have UBI with a great replacement. The society will collapse. Again, that's just like, you're just in your delusions. But um You can have a UBI and people would absolutely greatly benefit from UBI precisely. And in any case, it's only with citizens, right? It's only with citizens. It doesn't go to non-citizens, right? I mean, no, yeah, you're saying great population. It's not a conspiracy theory. Yes, there is a sort of replacement. I mean, it's not completely false. I mean, and yeah, and in any case, some conspiracy theories are correct. So I mean, it's not a fully incorrect statement, but it's. You say Scandinavia tried out their social programs were until they imported invaders. Um, yeah, but it's. I'm not sure. Is it also not because of, for instance, like capital flight and stuff? And also the fact that there was more economic growth at the time. I think it was partly that, it was during the sort of post-war economic boom, and so that's kind of why those things worked, and then it didn't work so well. Um, but in any case, like I said, it's only for citizens. It's not for just new immigrants. The UBI. It's not for immigrants. It's only for citizens. Um, because admittedly, yes, if you give it to all the new immigrants, then you're going to have a ton of immigrants, and then it's not going to work. Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm not giving it to the immigrants. um, so so it's not that much. It's 700 a month. Immigrants become citizens. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. And to become citizens, they have to work. They have to work here first. So yeah, you're not gonna have just people who come and don't do anything and become citizens. Um, You've got lots of different permits and you've got lots of stages to pass before you become a citizen. It's not easy. Actually, it's not that easy. What's my opinion on low birth rate? Well, I mean, I basically ideally you'd have a pretty just a stable population, and that would imply a higher birth rate than you have now. So it should in fact be increased. And again, UBI actually helps with that a lot, right? Because raising a kid is expensive. And if you provide, 700 Swiss francs, US dollars, a month for every kid, that's going to probably incentivize, birth rates. So, I mean, especially all these countries like, you like Putin and stuff. Well, why isn't he doing a UBI? He's seeing like the population collapsing and stuff. Instead, he's focusing on silly stuff. He could have implemented a UBI, and that would probably boost birth rates. Logically, it would, although there can be other reasons why birth rates are low. But I mean, certainly the expense of raising a child is a big part of goes a long ways to explaining why the birth rates have fallen so much. And so, yeah, providing UBI is really that. Um, so some will want to give 10K to families of the countryside for kids. Okay, 10K per year, I suppose, because that would be pretty much the same. Well, no, for me it would be 10K per I mean, it's not quite 10K, but it's like 8 point something K per person, so per adult or per child per year. Yeah, it wouldn't. I mean, obviously it's not going to be per month. So yeah. Um, well, so it's a kind of similar idea. I mean, I think that's a good idea. So that's the kind of thing that he's talking about. So obviously he's sort of also come to that kind of a conclusion. You don't really think it was 10K once or maybe per child. If it's just once, it's not going to do much. It would have to be annual to motivate people to actually do things. If it's, I mean, 10K per child per year is a lot. I mean, that's a lot. That's more than what I'm advocating even, although not much more. It's in that ballpark. And considering that France is not as rich as Switzerland, that's even, that would be even more of a cost. Although, of course, if it's just for children, it's obviously in total it's going to cost a lot less per person than if you're going to give it to adults as well. It's definitely not per year. Yeah, well, just 10K once, it's not going to be that's not gonna be enough. Just 10K once, that's not gonna really motivate people, I think. Um, what you should do is like 5K a year, 5,000 a year. Um, that would be like a good amount. That would really like motivate people. Um, so I mean, that's what you need to do if you want to motivate, want to raise birth rates, you do that. And yeah, if you don't want it to be with your replacer people, well, you just don't give it to the replacer people, right? You just give it to the citizens. Um, yeah, that's that's really. I mean, I've explained before why UBI is good, right there. I mean, there's all sorts of really major reasons. I mean, it raises the wages of low skilled jobs, but often difficult jobs. Often there's a sort of often those jobs tend to be very poorly paid because anyone can do it. And hey, Doctor Metaverse 2, hello. Um, so yeah, I don't. So I'm gonna do it. So I'm back in Switzerland. I'm gonna try to do an initiative to get UBI implemented in Switzerland. They're already doing. We already voted on that once. I'm not doing it, and they're already collecting signatures for another one. But I don't like the initiative that they're doing because it's too fuzzy. It's too vague, and they've also evoked some unrealistic things. So I want to do my own initiative that's more serious, and so. Um, that is my plan. And hopefully, if I can collect my 100,000 signatures in 18 months, then I'm gonna be able to get myself known, and then I will be able to sort of implement even bigger things than that. You got your Twitter thing, okay, but that means I have to open up an internet page. So let me do that. Okay, just gotta chat box text. Politics category misses you, bro. Okay. Oh, it's Boston. Okay, I was like, who is this? Okay, hi. Thank you for coming back. Welcome back. Um, okay. Um, window capture. Okay. Firefox is not coming up in window capture. Okay, look, I'm sorry. I'm not right now. I'll just have to start again. I won't do it this time. So I'm not gonna look at your little Twitter thing. Or I mean, I'll look at it myself, but I'm not gonna show it on stream because it's just for some reason sometimes it doesn't work, and then often you just have to like restart the thing. So yeah. In any case, for now, I think I'll just keep it sort of short because I don't really. It's also a bit late. I think there might be people sleeping next by, and I think the walls are pretty thin. So rape rate in Europe now. Sweden was once the safest country. What changed? Yeah, well, we know that, right? And UK is the highest. And like Switzerland, we're pretty low. Yeah, no, but actually, the Sweden thing about rape is it's not that it's a bunch of immigrants that are raping people. I mean, Switzerland is full of immigrants too, although they're more like Southern European rather than from across the waters. No, it's because Sweden has a very, very low bar for what constitutes rape. So you just basically have tons of rape accusations or sexual harassment accusations, right? So it's not that there's actually all that much more rape, it's that there's way more accusations. Um, right? It's not that there's you say, of course, no. I mean, it's not that immigration doesn't have anything to do with it. It's that most of that discrepancy is because there's different thresholds. There's different policies about how to deal with rape in different countries. It's not it's not just a bunch of immigrants that are raping everyone. It's not it's not like that. I mean, it's 100% to do. I mean, sometimes I sort of like having you on just because it's funny what you say and like, but it's not. I should be taking biology seriously. Look, I'm taking biology plenty seriously. Okay, um, it's not, you know, it's not 100% the immigrants that are raping. It's not. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Sweden didn't follow the plan that some people had wanted of like having mass immigration and to just have like pretty much the whole country being made up of immigrants. I mean, like Sweden now has what like a population of 10 million, but like back when it was like 5 million, they wanted to have immigration so that just with immigration it would grow like to 50 million or something. Um, so I'm glad they didn't do that, honestly. Um, Maybe 99%? No, it's maybe like 5%. It's maybe like 5% of the difference. But yeah, I'm not saying that they aren't a problem. I mean, they lots of these sort of poor immigrants do tend to have problematic attitudes and behaviors and stuff. I mean, absolutely, absolutely. Um, they are, a problem, a moderate problem. Um, and if there's a lot of them, it would be a bigger problem. Um, um, so I'm just having a look at your tweets, but unfortunately I can't show them, so I'm just looking at them myself. Attention, si vous appréciez ça même, vous êtes probablement nazi. That's racist. Why is the black guy the villain? That's racist. Why does the black guy have to get shot? Yeah, so you see a black guy shooting a white guy, and they say that's racist. Why is the black guy the villain? If there's a white guy shooting a black guy, and they say that's racist. Why does the black guy have to get shot? There's a black guy shooting a black guy. That's racist. Why is that only black people killing each other? A white guy killing a white guy. That's racist. Why are there no black people in this movie? Yeah. Yeah, I know. That is definitely a thing that some of these people, I mean, especially like the kind of people that you meet on Twitch politics, there's a lot of them that are exactly that. So I very much agree with this. That is funny, and I don't agree with this racist part. I think it's a funny. Yeah, obviously that's silly. I see racism everywhere. Um, you feel pity for the Ukrainians are forced to live what we live here in Western Europe. No, come on. Come on, it's not that bad. Honestly, I was thinking of this and I intentionally went to like the neighborhoods that are like I took the metro and I actually went to see like the places that were supposedly had the worst of that kind of stuff, right? So I did a tour. I went to what was it called? I went to first was Noisy-le-Sec, then I was in Bondy, then I was in Bobigny, then I was in what was it, Aubervilliers, and then I went to Saint-Denis. So I just sort of walked through there. Honestly, it's not that bad. There's like a lot of black people in Saint-Denis. There was quite a few like Arab people, more like in the further eastern part there, the first place. But like it's not it's not like that. It's not that scary looking. It's not. It just sort of seems like a random French neighborhood with a bit more immigrants, and like I didn't see any sort of dangerous going ons and stuff. So I know that there are problems. I know that there is a fair amount of criminal activity going on there, but it's not like I stayed. I went a month in Morocco. Now that was grim. That was depressing. Okay, that was depressing as fuck. Um, because there it's like it's poor, it stinks. The streets stink of garbage because there's garbage everywhere that leaks into the street. I dropped something in the street and then it just smelled incredibly terrible because there was a bit of liquid and the liquid next to the street just smells like garbage. Everywhere like people smoke a ton and you go inside any sort of cafe and like after a second you're just covered in smoke. There's all this disgusting perfume that they put on everything to cover all the other bad smells. And they for some reason they love this really strong perfume. Um, but what time of the day? I was there during the day. I was during the day. Yeah. Um, not I wasn't there at night. Um, um, and I was like in Morocco. That was just past month. I was in April, right? And they're doing the Ramadan. So they just all do this fucking Ramadan thing. It's just so stupid, right? They're just all doing the same like the same thing and everything they're all like the streets are just completely empty. The streets are completely empty when it's time for them to do like their post Ramadan eating and stuff. Um, it's just creepy. It's just creepy how they're just all super synchronized like that. Uh, and it's for something so evil and stupid. So like um and like just the needless honking and the just aggressive driving and stuff and just and the dangerous and lethal driving, right? There's a little girl that got her head exploded by the guy who passed me. It's terrible, right? Um, yeah. They sleep until 1 p.m. Wait, 1 p.m.? You mean 1 a.m.? Um, I imagine you mean 1 a.m. Like you mean they come out sort of late at night. So anyway, yeah, that is but like in comparison, so that was what I was thinking, right? Because I was fresh back from Morocco, and I was thinking, like, okay, Morocco is depressing, but those parts of Paris are not. Like, it's really pretty incomparable. Um, but even in Morocco, the actual crime rates are not all that high, actually. Um, I mean, and it's actually a lot worse in Latin America, for in particular. Um, in Latin America, you've got really high like homicide rates and stuff. In Morocco, it's like, and just in Arab countries in general, it's well, in some countries it's actually very low, in like the sort of rich, Arab states, Arabian states, um, crime rates are actually very low. But obviously, it's sort of for a creepy reason, right? It's just because they're very well, because they like will behead you if you do a crime. Um, so yeah, I'm not a fan of those places. Definitely not. And so I agree with you that I mean I don't want to see too many immigrants. That's for sure. I mean, especially from there. But again, you've got to be reasonable. You can't just start unironically claiming that there's like tons of rape going on in Sweden because of them. That's not really that's not reasonable. So yeah, that is my plan anyway. As I've said, so my UBI initiative, which is actually a three-in-one thing, right? Because actually, not only am I providing UBI, but I would also be providing um, this new tax system, which is just proportional tax on all individual income, and so that's another that's the second part. They're changing the tax system, although initially only for that. Then ideally, you would make all taxes just be done in that fashion. And then there's also the housing thing. So I would be addressing this initiative would be addressing the housing crisis by requiring that there be enough supply of housing, which is obviously what needs to be done. Because, well, what often sometimes what is done is like a price control, but rent control of, rent price control. But that, of course, what that means is that some people are going to get cheap rent and some people are get nothing at all. So that's not really a great. I mean, that's not a solution. So that's that. Well, look, since you've temporarily gone, and since Boston now apparently Doctor Metaverse is gone, I think I'm going to stop it so that way it'll make a more concise thing on the YouTube. Okay, so anyway, thanks for watching, and bye.